church, sometimes circumstances don't always follow our plans of life. The sad thing is that it seems like life is nothing more than a series of scattered dreams. Notice in our text, when you get time, read the whole entire chapter, but it speaks about the wise men and how they had spent their last 2 years of their life following a star. Look at verse 7, we read it together. It says, then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. Verse 16, it says, then Herod, when he saw that he was marked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth anger, and sent forth and slayed all the children that were in Bethlehem. All right. And in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he diligently inquired of the wise men. You talking about a wicked king. Herod was a wicked king. But church, to follow this star, these wise men, they had to leave home and leave behind their families. They had to face all kinds of obstacles as they left their country. They even found themselves in the presence of a wicked king. Then when the wise men finally arrived at their destination, they found out that the star they had been following for 2 long years led them to a shack. All right. Ain't that something? Think about it, if you will. Following a star that led them to a shack. The star, it stops over a shack, a humble house instead of a royal palace. Maybe these men dreamed of finding the Messiah, the one that had been prophesied for many years. Maybe they dreamed in their minds to find this Messiah in a palace. Maybe that's why, what the Bible tells us, that they went to Herod first. Where was he at? He was in a palace. I'm sure that they at least expected some luxury. A Messiah and a nice home. I'm quite sure, following something for 2 years. I'm quite sure they were looking for something better than a shack. Church, what they found didn't match up to their dreams. Can you imagine how they was excited? Some theologians said that the value of what these royal people had was over $400 million worth of stuff. So think about it, if you will. They found the King of Kings. They found the Lord of Lords in a shack. Don't that do something to you? To think about the wise men traveling for 2 years to find Jesus in a shack. Check the environment. The environment was pleasant and peaceful, but it was a shack. They had good earthly parents, but it was a shack. They even had 2 parents in the home. Had the father and the mother, but still, it was a shack. All right. Yeah. The sad thing is that some folks judge you by what you have. That's right. Not what's in your heart, but what you have. Have you dealt with folks that, they look at you from the toe all the way to the top of your head, then they want to stroll down again, judging you by what you have instead of what type of heart. Now let me give you a little Hopkins proverb that I come to realize. Stuff comes and stuff will go, but a good heart can lead you to heaven. Yeah, so that's a little proverb that everybody needs a little proverb in your life. Yeah, I feel pretty good with that proverb. No doubt their dreams were scattered, but they found some things in this humble setting that changed their lives. Even if there are some things in life that may scatter our dreams and possibility destroy our hopes and maybe our plans. Can I tell you something today? Give you a little wrapped up Christmas present. Can I tell you what to do when a star leads you to a shack? All right. Because it's going to happen in life. You're going to have a star that can lead you to something that you think that ain't good for you. But if God is there, he can change the situation. Do like the wise men of our text. Recognize that God is in the shack of life. So church, it wasn't what they had expected, but they still came to worship. Yeah. Look at them. I can imagine they changed this. Look here, we get ready to go see the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You know how we do on Sunday when we prepare ourselves to go to church. We do some changing. We get some stuff out of the cleaners. We prep ourselves. We go to the beauty parlor, you know, all that good stuff. Get haircuts and all that, preparing ourselves. So they came to worship, and what they did, they saw God in the shack. They saw God in little baby Jesus. So whatever we are going through, I'm talking to somebody. We ought to see God in it. Yes. Are y'all hearing me today? Well, let me say that again. Whatever we're going through, we ought to learn to see God in it. When life scatters your dreams, our first duty, I wish I had somebody that want to take something with them to help them along the way. Our first duty is to find the Lord. Yeah, because we are God's children, and we might as well realize that nothing can happen to us that God does not allow. Let me ask you a question. Would you, being a parent, would you let anything happen to your children and just sit there? That's the way we're God's children. God ain't gonna just let anything happen to us. If he do, he allowed it to happen. Well, I can shout right now. Right there. Let's check Job out. Job 1:8. It says, and the Lord said unto Satan. Yeah, that the Lord said unto opposition. He said, hast thou considered my servant Job? Look at that. That's all he is. God said he ain't never a servant. People might be to built him up to be more than what he is, but he's a humble person. He ain't never. The Lord said that. Ain't that something? That when the Lord called you a servant, you are a servant. He said that look what the Lord said, that there is none like him in the earth. Ain't God bragging? He's bragging to who? He's bragging. Y'all talk to him. He's bragging to Satan. Look what God said, a perfect and upright man. Ain't God bragging? He said, one that feareth God and eschew evil. Otherwise, he don't like evil. He hates evil. He runs away from evil. When a star leads you to a shack, remember, God is doing one or three things. I'm just about finished. Let me tell you what God is doing in your life. All right. God is using, amen, his skill called correction instruction and perfection. What are you saying, Pastor? I'm saying, well, what God is doing, he's using his tool called correction. Hebrews 12:6, it says, for whom the Lord loveth, he chastiseth and scorneth every son whom he receives. You see, God has a way of correcting us. Now you talking about, let me bring us in. You remember when our parents, anybody want to tell the truth? I know we got wrong now. But we go back just a little bit and go back when we was hard-headed and doing some everything and wouldn't listen to nobody. And the parents, I'm going to get you. Amen, I'm going to get you. Amen, you know how it was. I had a bad habit. I was in church. Door open up, I'm going to look around. And you know how you get some chewing gum in your mouth. We ain't supposed to chew. We do it today. But you ain't supposed to be sitting in the chair. Chewing about your mouth. But I'm going to get you now. And you try to butt them up. You try to get them to forget all about your bad behavior that you displayed. And then you get in your bed and you think it's all over. Amen. On one of them cold nights, got your cover tucked under, knowing the fire's soon to go out. All right. And all of a sudden, when you get into your sleep zone, feel something cold all of a sudden coming out. Anybody beside myself? Wow! My breathe. I'm gonna get you because I love you. Why? You know how, I don't care how deep your voice is when a good whooping comes and make your volume go up. You'll have some masculinity men here, but can go back and say my volume, my pitch did go up a little bit. But that's how God is. God, he corrects us. He chastises us. You know when our parents was whooping us, we wasn't all excited. But you dare not speak back against their correction. Because what they knew the foundation of the word. They knew that the Bible said you spat a rod, you hate your child. We came in and misinterpreted and started trying to butt it up and fix it up, but and you spat a rod, you spoil. That Bible ain't said that. The parents had some sense. They knew if we had some spoil, then they're going to beat the spoil out of you. Mom didn't play that now. Mom didn't play no spoil stuff. Amen. Spoil stuff will get you in trouble. God don't play it. Amen. Because he knows that's why he had to chastise us. Amen. You can't tell me the word of God don't make you hot sometimes. Let's deal with it for 1 second. Find out what's going on. Why you mad at the word? You can't change it no how. Amen. God's word is here to correct us. Chastise us. Think about it. A whole lot of children act crazy today because the parents done went crazy. Love your baby so much that you won't put some rod on. Something wrong with you. I can't remember going in the store talking about, Mama, I wanted me some tennis shoes. Back then we had them Converse. I wanted me some Converse. I got tired of wearing USA Bobo boys picking that store. You're laughing at you in the gym class. You stop playing basketball. You keep on sliding, boys, walking, man. I got tired of that stuff. Y'all hold some Bobo too. Don't be so good. Laughing at what I'm talking about. I dare not go to Mama and challenge Mama talking about, Mama, give me some, amen, some Converse. Mama didn't play that. Because Mama knew that food was better than shoes. And then instruction, God is trying, preach on, trying to reveal himself to us in a new way. Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. Romans 8:28, it says, and we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God. To them who are the called according to his purpose. Yeah. God has instruction for us. because he want to work things out. Can y'all tell change has got to come? I know how it is. I'm the same way. It's hard to change. Amen. You got your mind made up. I got a route that I go on. Amen. But sometimes you find out they got some construction on the road. Yeah. And that thing bothers me when you got some construction on the road. It makes me nervous. Amen. Amen. But sometimes a detour is better than going the direction you're going. Yeah. Let's come on in the church. We get ready to Christmas. We don't like changes, but God has a new thing. We can't operate the ministry of God the way we used to operate. Amen. Amen. You got to have some changes in the house. All right. Amen. I was dealing with my grandbaby, and amen, she said, Papa, can I see your cell phone? I said, yeah, go ahead. I thought I knew more than she did. Go ahead. Got a cell phone, got her some games. I didn't even know I had some games on the cell phone. So I came to the conclusion, she won't tear it up. I'm the one to tear it up. Then God got perfection. God's trying to mold us in his image. God, he wants a vessel that he can use. And God has chosen you. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, God has chosen you. My vessel, God is getting ready to use you for his service. That's why we buck the system of God. We don't want to be used. We want to sit back and monitor things. But God said, I'm getting ready to use you. We've been sitting down too long. All right. Amen. I was telling somebody the other day, I was telling them, I said, when will the church become the church of the living God? Amen. And buckle up and go out in the hedges and highways and compel men, women, boys, and girls to come. God could not lead Israel. No, he couldn't lead Israel until Moses had first led those sheep in the desert. Let me say that again. God could not have led Israel until Moses had first led those sheep in the desert. Y'all didn't hear me say it one more time. Yeah, God could not have led Israel until Moses had first led those sheep in the desert. That's why some of us are going through some stuff. God is prepping us to make us more effective leaders for his kingdom. When a star is leading you, amen, look for God, and God will be there. Let me close because I'm enjoying this. As I close here, the wise men, what do? They rendered a gift in the shack. They could have turned around and packed up all that they had and went on back home, because it hadn't turned out the way that they had planned it. But they didn't. Instead, they gave God a gift. They gave God what really belonged to him in the first place. Let me share with us, when we bring our offering to the house of the Lord, in the first place, it belongs to God anyhow. So when a star, it leads you to a shadow. Let me tell you what we ought to try. We ought to give God a gift. That's a good time to practice giving to God. But the sad thing is, most people will stop giving anything when a star brings them to a shack situation. That's the wrong kind of response. I know things might not look good to you, but if you stop giving God, that's a bad response, and it's not good for the kingdom. The way to get God to give is, I found out, is to give God first. And when you give God his first, it entices God. Romans, not Romans, but New Testament, 2 Corinthians 9 and 7, it says, every man according as he purpose in his heart. So let him give. And then God, so hold it, don't stop right there. God said put this into the language of his manuscript. He said not grudgingly or necessity. For God loves a cheerful giver. You think about it, what if God said, I'm going to treat you the same way you treat me? You won't give me what I ask you. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to bring some strategy in your life. I'm trying to ease some situations, bring some financial blessings in your life. But you have a tendency of giving to me grudgingly. What does the word really mean? That you don't want to give. Somebody got to about choke it out of you. Or you're giving me a necessity. Means you don't really giving me your best. You just giving me something. I wonder how is our worship experience to the Lord. I wonder, are we giving God our best? Or are we just giving him some leftovers? I'm here, so I think I'll praise you. I'm here, so I think it's good to say amen. But somebody said when I think of the good of Jesus, all he's done for me, my soul cries out, you know, hallelujah, I thank God. Anybody in here today, if you've been on this journey for a long time, have you found out that no man can outgive God? Do I have a witness here? Before we go to the graveyard, before the Lord call us home, we ought to leave some record here. We ought to leave behind to our children. We might not have a whole lot of money, yeah, but we ought to leave a record behind. You can't outgive God. Yeah, I'm glad my mother left me a record behind. I might not have houses and land, but remember, you can't outgive God. Do I have a witness here? Oh, help me, Lord. The way to get blessed is to be a blessing. Anybody here, do you want the Lord to use you to be a blessing? Last, as I get ready to close, the wise men, they received two kinds of grace in their shackled situation. They experienced saving grace. Yes, they did, because they worshiped the Lord. Oh, I'm trying to say today that it is only Christians can worship the Lord. Have y'all found that out? That only a Christian can worship the Lord. They traveled 2 years just to worship. Y'all didn't hear me. I said they traveled 2 years just to worship.